Welcome to a new daily top Askreddit video. Today's topic. What is something you never imagined would turn you on until it happened? When I was in high school there was a girl who would look at me, pat her lap for me to lay my head down and then give me head scratches. Still think about it every now and then. Sex was good, but the head scratches that'll stay with me forever. You sound like you had the AIM protagonist experience lol. I never knew just how much I needed head scratches till I went out with a girl who randomly did it while I was driving. Now it's like a necessity for me. GF wanted to show me her current Minecraft world, and when she pulled up her world list, one of them was my name and she got super embarrassed when I saw it. I had this happen in reverse lol. I'd bought a lock for my stuff at the gym and set the passkey to my new boyfriend's name. I was tilda cheesy tilda giddy / smiley, and who was gonna know? Months later we're running errands in my car. His phone died and he was bored and fiddling with the stuff in my center console. We both have ADHD and fidget with stuff. I feel him staring at me and I look over, and he's holding the lock which is still set to his name. I don't think I've ever felt that unpreparedly vulnerable lol. I never blush, but I turned beet red and said shut up. Even though he hadn't said anything. Quick edit, multiple people have informed me that I was using cheesy wrong. I heard it in context and misunderstood what it meant. Just pointing this out since so many people have seen this. I don't want people to pick up and propagate my mistake lol. Thanks for correcting me. This is extremely cute. Oh indeed. Somebody licking my finger. I was rock hard in a second. Edit, corrected a typo that caused some confusion. Nice finger dude. Did that turn you on? Stop, I can only get so erect. Had a stripper show off her talent by sucking my finger once. I was both aroused and disgusted, because I knew where my finger had been. I know exactly what you mean. It's a men's cologne, but I don't know the name. The smell is so good that I swear I can probably orgasm from it if I smelled it again. I wish I was kidding, but I'm not. I'm gonna need you to find this cologne please. Let's make it clear to all the teenage boy redditors, it's not Axe body spray. My husband started wearing this deodorant years ago but stopped pretty quickly. He'd get a lot of compliments but it annoyed him because he'd buy expensive colognes and never get a word about it. But oh my gosh, the deodorant. I have a picture of it on my phone so I don't forget and occasionally get him to wear it. A few months ago we were hiking and going along a narrow path. I was walking a few feet behind him and kept getting whiffs. I absolutely sounded like a creeper the entire time. Edit, it's degree men cool rush. He once playfully called me silly girl. It awoke something in me. I said good girl once. She turned into an animal after that. I said clever girl and she turned into a velociraptor. If you're gonna act like a silly goose, why don't you just hop on in the pond? Touching my upper arm. But it's just barely scraping it. It's so incredibly tingly it gets me every time. Kind of similar for me. I love a really light back scratch with the nails just grazing the skin. I don't know if it's a turn on per se, but it does put me in a state of pure bliss. I worked with this cute girl once at a cafe, and one day, she came into work late. I had recently been promoted to bar manager and after she arrived, I mentioned that I would hate to have to write her up. Of course I was joking, since it honestly wasn't that big of a deal and she was a good worker and never really ever late. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "Oh, am I in trouble?" I was astounded at how quickly it turned me on. And that's how I met your mom. She was the woman in our department who warned me about hitting on subordinates. Asterisk fix a typo. Girl at work dropped her towel she was cleaning with. She would fold it in thirds, and tuck it into her apron, so she would have it with her at all times. Swoon. I was trying to be nice and picked it up and tucked it back into her apron when everything went in slow motion as I realized the back of my hand was against her belly. I turned purple and then bolted like an awkward Seafeld episode. We've been married for 22 years this October. That's fantastic, the ending everyone wanted. Having a praise kink. My husband would call me good girl to be funny when I bring him a drink, grab socks for him or something. He was just being goofy but started to realize it turned me on, much to my surprise as well. He isn't super kinky by nature, but I had him call me his good girl in bed the other day and we both came super hard. Lol. This is my thing too. I absolutely love to be told I'm being a good girl. Especially with a nice pat on my ass for it. Although occasionally my husband will miss the tone and say it to me like he's talking to our dog, and that's less sexy. No honey, you can't ask me now who's a good girl. And offer me a cookie. That one doesn't make me horny. I'm keeping the cookie though. As a male I would expect it, but when someone gently puts both hands on the sides of my torso when they're passing by. Obviously not strangers but ye. My boyfriend has put his hand on my side to gently sort of direct me while walking, and it wakes me up in inside. I can't wake up. A couple of female workers do this sometimes and I'm like, ooh, that's different. Seeing my best friend freshly out of the shower, clothed, with wet hair. We're engaged now. Definitely walked out with wet hair and glasses on one night while staying at a hotel with a friend, and the way he looked at me was definitely different, lol. Wet hair is so hot. You'd love my shower drain. Allowing someone with a dental fetish to clean my teeth. It was extremely erotic and my trips to the dentist haven't been the same since. Never heard of this before, ever. How did it come up? And what did the fetish involve? Biting, flossing, drilling. We are both a bit freaky and like exploring our freakies. She actually has an entire dental / medical room in her house. Fully functional. We just did mock appointments and procedures. Used restraints and jaw retractors, etc. It's such an incredible feeling to be fully restrained to the point that you can't even move your jaw. Talk about vulnerable. My dental hygienist is cute. Every time I visit, I eat a whole package of Oreo cookies while waiting in the lobby. Stephen Wright. Sometimes, she has to cancel all the other appointments. Having my hair pulled. As a kid, I always had very, very short hair. When I moved out, I decided on a whim to let it grow. Eventually it got long enough that I could put it in a ponytail. Then, one day at work, for reasons entirely unknown to me, one of my co-workers reached out and gave it a firm tug. Surprised the hell out of me. One day I went for a haircut and the woman who was cutting my hair kinda grabbed me by the hair and yanked my head back like, dude, I had no idea. My guy slightly squeezing my throat. He gently holds my neck while kissing me passionately so he can feel my pulse quicken as we get hot and heavy. Major turn on for us both. I think for me I kinda like the vulnerability aspect. He likes to check my heart rate because it allows him to physically feel that he is turning me on. Similarly, my partner thinks it's funny to check my pulse on my smartwatch and then do something that really turns me on and then check it again to see how much it's gone up. He finds it hilarious and I always get flustered. I was laying down with a friend one time that I was extremely attracted to, and he mentioned that my heart felt like it was beating really fast. I checked my watch and it said 120 BPM. I have a heart condition, but I was literally laying down doing nothing. There's no casual explanation for that, Lmao. Gosh, yeah, I really didn't expect it, but it was just so hot. Okay, so this is definitely weird. I hate my sides being touched unless I know you / trust you. But when it is that person who I know and trust, holy fuck. Graze your hands up and down my side and I'm turned on like a mofo. Maybe it's the trust. If only a few people can touch you there, the safe feeling lets you completely let loose. Licking / sucking nipples. My first girlfriend and I were making out. My hands were all over her body. So I was in full horny mode and she lowered her head. I thought, oh boy, the lil homie getting love too. But she stopped by my nips and started licking and I was stunned. Are you good? She asked. It was this day I learned I had sensitive nips. Holy shit, I was fucking turbo horny. I tried to be cool and said, yeah, girl, I'm good. She pinched my right nips and I let out a half scream half moan. After that she would deadass go nipple diving every time we were chilling and making out. Adding the phrase nipple diving to my vocabulary immediately. Strangely enough, the biggest turn on ever for me was the simplest thing in the world. My girlfriend at the time, back when I was in high school, kissed me on the cheek as she was getting off the bus, and I still remember it to this day. It felt so genuine, that I can still remember it over 20 years later. No other kiss has ever done it for me. I hope you mean kiss in that last line. That's a motherfucker of a typo. Dude's been frequenting high school buses for the last 20 years trying to chase the high from that first kiss. Turns out he's actually the bus driver. Meeting a person dressed in a very convincing Batman outfit. I don't even like Batman. You might not like Batman, but you probably like leather lol. And / or the anonymous stranger aspect. A friend and I were jokingly recreating a physical fight we had as kids because we remembered how much we used to fight. He was behind me and put his arm around my neck to choke me and held my hands with the other arm. I accidentally moaned, "He's gay." We couldn't stop laughing. The same thing happened to me with a guy friend cracking my back. He was my best friend in HS, and one day I just saw him in the halls and was just like, "Yo, I need my back cracked." So he picked me up from behind, something he had done 100 times before, back cracked, and I let out this moan of absolute bliss. We were both dying from laughter on the ground.